Instagram. Yeah. Roll all God's people said roll tide. Doesn't get any better than that. Instagram. All right, so I need to get Facebook started. All right, so go to what? Oh, Brave. All right, there's three things pop up. I was looking, which I don't know which one to is it this?
No, it goes along though.
Is it that?
It's the first one. Right, hit that.
Uh-oh.
Facebook's up here.
Right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now scroll down. I already got the description in there. Everything's already good.
Copy.
Yeah. The top guy. And then go back to OBS.
All right. Facebook.
Spotify.
Is that the one that's in there now?
No. Get rid of it. Get rid of that one.
Yeah. Does anybody want to? Oh. Hit OK. Where's OK? Bottom. Okay.
And I can start on Facebook.
All right.
And I'll go back to Facebook.
Where'd it go?
Oh, you're in the wrong thing.
Oh, lion.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, now scroll, just hit go live. It'll be live
Where's go live?
in the bottom.
Right in front of me. I'm live on YouTube and we're ready to go. We're ready to go here.
Yep. Live on. Remember the switch your scene and start.
Okay, yeah. So let me get back to, for that, I need to be, okay. Yeah, so everything is, that looks like the microphone is a little higher than it was the last time. I did. Okay. Okay, bud. All right, thank you. There we go. All right, so main cam. All right, I'm going to switch it over. All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Scott Brooks, and I am very happy to see all of you on Instagram. I'm happy to have those of you on Facebook and Twitch and YouTube here, and I'm excited about this. For those of you that have followed, we have been testing this new live show for the past, a couple of months, and I'm not an old dog, as it were, although some people might say I am, but this is a new trick for me, so we have worked really hard to bring this show to you. I am the publisher of the Waxahachie Sun, and we have a number of platforms. This is a new one, and so as I'll share with you in just a minute, I want to be able to use this platform for good. I want to use this platform to be able to inform, talk about, discuss. This is all based on your interaction and your interest and your engagement, because I can tell you now, and I can line up people to attest to it, you don't want to hear me talking for the next hour and a half. So although I do have a lot of things I want to share with you, it really is important that you are able to share with me what you think, and we're going to do this together. So our mission here really is to create an environment in which you only find the truth, where you find a safe place, I guess you could say, where people can come and share their opinions and not be discouraged, not be hated on, not be ridiculed, that kind of thing. There'll be some of that. I'm not going to try to stop that. But if anyone comes here and wants to attack and damage others, then we'll have to ask to excuse those folks, because this needs to be a place where we can really have some fun. I think what we're going through in America is just too much hatred. I know we're going through it. Too much hatred, too much nasty discourse, and I don't want this to be another one of those. So this is Sunspot Live. I will host it every Tuesday and Thursday evenings from 4:30 to 6 or so. Again, it depends largely on your input, but the idea, again, is to have a great show. I want to be able to make it possible that more of us say today in this society, let's be a beast. Let's stop this stuff that's going on. Let's stop all the robbing of our societal discussion and nastiness and the mean and the hate that's going on. I want to find a way for us to get that out of our system and encourage everybody to say there are ways to do it, not violently, of course, but to say if we see something that's not good, then we need to speak up, say something, address it. So that's the general idea here. Again, I am the publisher of the newspaper, but the newspaper, we also have other platforms through which we communicate with our followers and our subscribers and our readers and viewers and that sort of thing. So again, this is another one of those, but I'm excited about it. I don't believe that I'm a talented talk show host in any stretch of the imagination, but as I was sharing with some friends today, I came across a quote the other day that I don't think just was coincidental that I came across it, but it says, be brave enough to suck at something new. So this is brand new. We've had podcasts in the past, but we haven't had this opportunity where essentially I've got to figure out how to run this little soundboard here and look at various cameras and communicate with people. So again, those of you who are joining us, I'm grateful. I don't know how many people will join, but over time we'll find out. But we want to have some fun, kick some butt, kind of slide, live life like we're sliding into home plate. It's always been something that I've believe we all should do. So that's the essence of Sunspot Live. On Sunspot Live, we're going to give away things. So I want to, if you're going to take the time to come and watch a show and listen what's going on and communicate and talk and interact, then I'd like to be able to give you something that maybe you would appreciate getting and winning, actually. It'd only be one of you, not on every show, but on a lot of shows, we will be giving away various things. Today, we're going to give away a $25 gift card. I believe it's a Visa or MasterCard, so you can use it wherever you want to. And I'll tell you throughout the show that you'll be able to win or be entered to win. The way you do that is that you become a follower and that you, what else did we have here? Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Invite friends, please, as many as you can. And then before the show's over, I'm going to pick a winner from those who have commented with what they think they enjoyed most in this next hour or so. So those are the things you have to do to be eligible to win. $25. Follow. I'd like for you to share if you can, and then comment with what you liked best in Sunspot Live. All right, so that's the idea. Again, the role of the audience here is for you to be able to tell me what you like, what you don't, what you want to learn more about, what you want to hear, who you want to have on. I'll talk more about some guests that are coming up because there are guests coming up. Our first guest will be an exciting guest. Will create a lot of interest, I think, as you will discover here in a few minutes. But not every show will have guests, but the idea is to have as many as we can. If you have somebody you'd like to hear from, could be a person that's in city leadership, school district leadership, could be, I don't know, I don't want to limit it to who I think. I've got a list of about 25 people here that will eventually be on the show, but I want to hear more from you about who would be joining us or who you'd like to have. So, again, if you want to win, you got to follow and then comment with the best segment of the show, and I'll pick a winner at the end of the show. So that's the essence of why we're here. I'd like to share with you some things. I don't know about you guys, but I read a lot. And I think that's the only way I can really learn whether or not something is true. I need to research it. I need to understand it. So I have what's called a stack of stuff here that I'm just going to share with you that I'm betting most of you haven't heard. But it's in the news. Not all of us have time to read all the news every day, but these are things that I want you to just hear about in my stack of stuff. The first is, I don't know if you've heard about this, but or that you can tell. Let's see. On this side, you can see I'm trying to do this backwards, but right here is the A. I'd never be a weatherman, but you can see the A behind me. That A stands for Alabama, so I'm a huge Alabama fan, and I don't mind mixing it up with those who don't like Alabama, which are most people in the state of Texas, or who are Texas fans. So in the news this week, there is a story that says, the headline is, BYU fans asked to remove horns down shirts during a game against Texas. So in a basketball game at BYU students decided they wear bunch of all of them had on shirts that had the down horns there. And in our society, I would say probably 10 years ago, 15 years ago, that's the idea, is to wear something that is antagonistic towards the team you're playing. But today, I think it's indicative of our society. These guys, these students at BYU were asked to take their shirts off, that they couldn't wear them because it had, instead of horns up, it had horns down. And I found the story to be kind of comical. I also found it to be a little bit, I guess, truth be known, weaselly, if you will, from those on the Texas side, because they couldn't stand for a shirt that I guess was in opposition to them to be shown at a game, so they had to take them off. So a good sign about what's really going on in society, where we can't wear certain shirts that say things about a team. If you've ever been to an Alabama game in Alabama or in Bryant-Denny and Tuscaloosa, there are plenty of shirts that don't say nice things about the University of Alabama or the football team, but nobody's asked to take them off. Nor should they be. I want to share with you another story that does impact Texas. I don't know how much you followed about what's going on with our border. We know that hundreds of thousands of people are coming across this border every month, and without much resistance. This is a story about our governor, who I have had my issues with Greg Abbott in the past, have written about Greg Abbott, and believe that in this case he's doing a really good job. Let me make sure I'm catching everybody here. Yeah, there's some comments. Share live. Yeah, very good. Thank you all. Appreciate. All right, I got to read that. Even Aggie fans appreciate Bear Bryant. Of course, Bear Bryant. Bear Bryant passed away my senior year in college. I'll never forget it. And now here we are with Nick Saban, not passing away, thank goodness, but who is now leaving Alabama. So this will be twice in my life where a legend has got to be followed at Alabama. That said, Governor Abbott, as you may know, has put up razor wire, which is kind of what they use in prisons to prevent illegal immigrants, and I emphasize the word illegal, from coming across the border into the state of Texas. And the administration, the current administration, Biden's administration, is suing Texas to stop that from happening, and actually lost the case to keep that wire up and prevent illegals from coming over. Although the case was lost, what that meant was that the Border Patrol could tear down that wire, cut the wire, whatever, and allow for more free entry or hassle-free entry. The governor said, "Too bad. We're still gonna keep the wire up." So I've seen clips of it. I don't know if you have about that and what the wire looks like, but you got to be crazy to try to get through the wire to come into the state of Texas. I love Texas, but somebody will die trying to get through that wire. But I just wanted to share with you that Governor Abbott continues to protect the state. We, about 5 or 6 years ago, we had out here at Lakeview, out going towards Maypro, we had buses of not infants, but children immigrants coming into the county. And I believe many of the folks here went kind of ape crazy over that. Nothing happened after 3 weeks, but they all stayed there. And again, this was 5 or 6, maybe 7 years ago. But here we are now with many more thousands coming across the border, and Abbott trying to do something about it. So I applaud the governor for what he's doing. There's a quote here that says Texas has transported over 102,000 migrants to sanctuary cities. And what's happening with those sanctuary cities is that they don't want to be a sanctuary city. They want to call themselves a sanctuary city, but they don't want to be one insofar as they don't want these immigrants there. So they're trying to figure out what to do with them. Places like New York and Chicago and others, again, virtue signaling, I guess is what you'd call it. But we want to be a sanctuary city, but don't send the immigrants our way. So Abbott, I just want you all to know that are watching that Abbott is doing a really good job in making sure that Texas is protected to the best that it can of immigrants coming over. So I hope he continues doing that for sure. I'm sorry, that's crazy. What happened to the kids? The kids grew up, they went back to their country of origin, and I assume now are living good lives somewhere. But we welcomed them. Some of us did welcome them to our community. Some of us didn't, and thought there would be, I guess, some hell raising going on. And there really was. It was for 3 weeks. There was calm and nothing bad happened. So I've got a story here about Biden. Biden, as you may know, 3 service members were killed in Jordan this week. Jordan is east of Israel, the country of Israel, and a bomb was dropped from a drone over Jordan, killed 3 U.S. service members. And I believe Biden, well, I know Biden has said he's going to do something. He's decided on a response, it says, but he hasn't told anybody about it. So the hope is that Biden will do something pretty serious about what, and it appears to be coming from Iran, that these attacks, there will be retaliation. So Biden, I just wanted to share with you that Biden has said that he will be doing something about it. This is a story from today, but that he has decided, it says here clearly, as he departed the White House on Tuesday morning, Biden was asked by a reporter if he had made a decision in response to the attack by Iran-backed militants on Sunday. Biden replied yes, but he hasn't told anybody. So we're going to see what happens. My hope is that this country says that is unacceptable in every way, and we're gonna tell you what happens. One of the things I've written about a number of times over the past, I don't know, couple of years as it's gotten more steam and grown is the idea of biological men playing women's sports. Every time I write about it, I get a response. You may have just heard it in the room. It said, ooh, because it's a sensitive topic for a number of people. I'm not one of those. I don't believe that any biological male, and I happen to believe there are only 2 genders, but I don't believe any biological male should play any female sports. It's going to destroy women's sports in this country. And I wanted to share with you a story that just came out, I believe it was today, yes, today at 11:45, about the swimmer. Her name is Leah Thomas, was born a male, is transitioning to be a female, has already, if you follow the news, you've heard of Leah Thomas, but Leah Thomas has already won several meets and so on and so forth. But the Olympics are coming this summer, and Leah Thomas, I believe, it's pretty obvious, is working the angle to be able to qualify for the women's team in the Olympics, and is taking the aquatic, I forget they call the World Aquatics, to court to make sure that that is possible. So we have a biological male who now is a swimmer and is winning certain meets and wants to be in the Olympics. If there was ever something that I find to be idiotic, it's the idea that we would be comfortable with a biological male, in this case swimming against women in women's sports in the Olympics. That's insane, in my opinion. So this is a story just that Leah Thomas is taking the World Aquatics, which is the governing body of swimming in the world, to court to make it possible that she can. I don't even know what to call the person, to be honest with you. I don't want to be offensive to anybody, but as far as I'm concerned, I struggle with the idea of calling a biological male a she, but I do respect the fact that people who have made that transition expect to be called she in this case. But here's a story where Leah Thomas wants to be an Olympian and swim against women. And if that happens, my guess is, unless it's some miraculous showing by a female from across the world, that Leah Thomas is likely to win the Olympic gold medal. Just the way it happens. And I don't think there's much debate about that. I want to share with you a story about my own industry. You won't believe the next story. But I want to share something with you about the Austin American-Statesman. Austin, capital of Texas, had at one time a great newspaper. I love the Austin American-Statesman. Austin American-Statesman, a big paper, sat right on a lake there in Austin, but it was sold a few years ago to a company that's now gutting newspapers across America, those that it owns, which are a couple hundred. And I came across a story that I thought I would just read to you, only because I want everyone that can hear it, and I've said it as many times as I can to people who have will listen in various settings, as to why we started the Sun in 2018 at a time when the industry was struggling. Why would we ever do that? I can certainly tell you that it's not because of money, and it's not to become wealthy. It's because of what I want to share with you and what's happening in Austin. What I'm going to read to you is a description of what happens to cities where there is no newspaper. In the industry, it's called news deserts. Some newspapers are called ghost papers because the building still exists. A couple of people still work there, but it's a shell of a company. There are no reporters. Some of them use AI to get content written and sent out. Austin is becoming one of those newspapers. It really is a ghost newspaper, and the staff has been slashed. Stories are about other places. I was reading a story not long ago about a paper up in, I think, Wisconsin or Michigan, Illinois, somewhere up there, where not one story in the local paper was about anything local. The Waxahachie Sun is 100% local, and every story is about Waxahachie. But here's what happens when there is no newspaper in cities across the country. And it's whether it's big or small countries, this is what happens. A growing body of research shows the consequences suffered by cities that lose their newspapers. Quote, voting rates go down, volunteering rates go down, and the general civic robustness goes down, said David Reif, the director of UT Austin School of Journalism and Media. Political corruption goes up because the politicians are not monitored by journalists. Many of them will do very hinky things. Never heard that word, hinky. Essentially bad things, strange things, odd things, corrupt things. Just the idea that someone is watching what they're doing seems to decrease corruption among public officials. A 2018 Brookings Institution study found that cities that lose a local paper, listen to this, pay higher municipal borrowing costs, around $650,000 per bond issue, because investors lack information about those cities' governments. Such is the case with what would happen to Waxahachie. Imagine if there were no newspaper here or no media outlet that's focused on the news to be able to share with you what's going on. Ironically, Waxahachie has two newspapers here. One is the Daily Light, which is owned by a company out of New Jersey. Many of us at the Sun used to work at the Daily Light, and when we worked there, 46 people, a full operating press, and several $100,000 of commercial printing was going on there, in addition to a daily newspaper 5 days a week. Today, the Daily Light maybe has 3 or 4 employees, maybe 1 or 2 local, I think. Good people for sure. No printing press. Their paper's being printed elsewhere, as is ours. But it's what's happened in the industry to a lot of newspapers. But Waxahachie has 2 of them. How long that will last in terms of, I don't know, but we're here for the long haul for sure. But if Waxahachie had no paper, I venture to say the city would be in some trouble. The research backs that up. So we've written many stories over the years, and I've certainly written many columns over the years about politicians who have done things they shouldn't have done. Stole signs out of people's yards. Caught one of them doing it on video, who was stealing his opponent's signs, and then had the audacity to claim that it was an innocent mistake. We've had others do things that they know they shouldn't be doing, and through our efforts, they were called out for that. So we will continue to do that. But not having a newspaper, even though readership is struggling for newspapers across America, cities that don't have a newspaper, you just heard the research there about what happens to them, and it's sad. Let me just make sure I'm reading something here. Yeah. Okay, we can AI everything you want, but we still want to know from a trusted source what is going on. Exactly. So thank you for sharing that. That is why we exist, is to make sure that you know what's going on. And believe me, when I tell you that we are not going to get rich doing this, but we are going to keep our city with a certain richness that only the truth and a quality media outlet can provide. And I believe more and more people are recognizing that. So we are happy to be here. But what's happening to the Austin American-Statesman and countless other newspapers in America cannot happen in Waxahachie, Texas. We're almost 60,000 people in this city. When I moved here, we had 30,000, and that wasn't a decade ago. And our county's growing rapidly, so more and more is coming our way, and the more and more reasons why there needs to be a quality information source in this community. So we're excited to be here, and we ask you to join us in that effort and become a subscriber. All right, here's a story you are not going to believe. I'm just going to read. I'm going to tell you what this young lady did, and this young lady lives in Thousand Oaks, California. Now, this is another sign of what's going on in this country. In every show, I'm going to try to show you, just in this stack of stuff, signs that indicate what's happening to America. I read for you a minute ago some stories about some of the things that are going on, and this is another one. Let me just read you the headline. I'll leave out part of it, and then I'll tell you after that what happened. But this is what this young lady did. And this young lady is 32 years old, and she lives in California. On May the 27th and into the 28th in 2018, this young lady stabbed her boyfriend 108 times. And as you might expect, he passed away. She stabbed her dog, and she cut her own throat. Now, if I were to just say to you, what do you think would be, and she was found guilty of that. She didn't deny that she did it. Matter of fact, she owned up to it. She admitted it in court. So if I were to ask you, what do you think should happen to somebody who does that kind of heinous thing or things to somebody, to a pet, to 108 times? You know what that's a lot. And what do you think should happen? Somebody tell me. If you're asking me, they ought to get the worst punishment. Somebody had to cut her own throat. Yeah, she did that, and she lived. So imagine. So let me tell you, in Ventura County, which is a part of Los Angeles, you want to know what she got? She got 3 years of probation and I believe it was a $3,000 fine. And I think a couple of years of parole, or not parole, but probation afterwards. No, she got 3 years of probation, and then she got the fine. Those are the only two things. So she killed her boyfriend with 108 stabs. She killed her dog. She cut her own throat, and she gets 3 years of probation in America. Now, you tell me, how do we survive as a country if that's what we're going to deal with in terms of district attorneys, in terms of lawlessness, in terms of the response to lawlessness? Imagine if that happened in our own community. What would we do, and how would we respond? So just be aware that stuff like this is happening. I'm going to have some fake news for you here in a minute. That's not fake news. That actually happened. You can Google it. You can call it up on the news. You can see her in court crying. Her name is Bryn Spetcher, Spejcher. So look it up. You'll see. And one last story before we get to other items on my agenda here. A lady at Costco, a shopper at Costco, and I'll admit to you that I think I've been in Costco once, maybe once. We don't have a Costco. I don't even know where the nearest Costco is, but there's not one in Waxahachie. Maybe we need one. But a lady, evidently Costco's return policy is that if you become unhappy with what you bought, bring it back. And I kid you not, this is dated today at 1 o'clock. A lady who had a couch that she bought from Costco for 2 years. She had this couch and decided that her family and her kids decided they didn't like the color. So they took the couch back to Costco, and Costco gave them a full refund. This is not fake news. This is real. I'll tell you when we're getting to fake news. This is real news. What I've just shared with you, these stories, obviously some of them are real. But when I read to you that somebody stabbed a guy 108 times and got 3 years probation, then I read for you a story about somebody who bought a couch 2 years ago, used the couch, and then decided they didn't like the color anymore, took it back after 2 years. And Costco, I don't know who's crazier, the woman that did it or Costco, but Costco gave her a full refund. Let me read to you some of the quotes or comments that people made about this lady, or about the idea that it could happen. People lose freedoms when they abuse it like this. Costco should put some limits in place. And then there's this. People like this will ruin it for the rest of us. Multiple places have tightened up their return policies due to people abusing them. Now all other customers at Costco are paying for her couch. Great policy. So there you go. Real stuff happening in this country. I want to share things like that with you every chance we get. So we got a giveaway coming up in a little bit. So if you are following, if you hit the button to follow, those of you on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, for those of you on Instagram, if you become followers, then I'm going to be able to see it. In just a little while, we'll just randomly choose someone. Oh, and then you got to also say what's your best segment or what you like the best. Then we will give someone a $25 gift card to any place you want to go. And we got some other real cool gifts coming in the months to come. We're going to have Texas Rangers tickets, concert tickets. We'll have dinner for two. We got a whole list of things that we're going to give away to people who interact and contribute to this show. So one of the things I've often said to people is if we take a minute to recognize that even in secular media, particularly in this country, which has run amok, if we take the time to listen and watch, we'll see how God uses even the media and Hollywood to get his message across. You would be surprised at how many times that happens. And I thought, you know what, in this show, I want to take an opportunity every show to be able to say, here's an example of that. So I'm going to do that right now. I want to show you a clip from a movie called Up. No, not Up. That's the one we use in our test. Coach Carter. If you remember, Coach Carter is a great movie with Samuel L. Jackson. Let me turn this sound down. Let me get over to the segment that I want to show you. I'm fine. There it is right there. So, again, this is a clip. I don't want to talk and then play it for you. After I'm done talking, you'll lose interest. So I'm going to play it for you. And then we can just discuss just briefly what the message is. So here's Coach Carter. Let me get to the right camera. So here is Coach Carter. I want to get to full screen. Here's the scene in Coach Carter. And please, if the sound isn't what you need it to be to hear it, tell me and I will make sure we turn that up. So here you go, Coach Carter. This movie was in 2005.
Sir, they can cut the chain off the door, but they can't make us play.
We've decided we're going to finish what you started, sir.
Yeah, so leave us be, coach. We got shit to do, sir.
Excuse the language.
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were all meant to shine as children do. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Sir, I just want to say thank you. You saved my life.
Thank you, sirs. All of you.
So look, Coach Carter is a very good movie. If you haven't had a chance to see it, I would encourage you to watch it. I would also say this, that let me get the music back. But that Samuel L. Jackson, I think it's fair to say, isn't known for being a beacon of the Christian faith. But there's an example of a very, very sound Christian principle coming through in Coach Carter. If you watched, any of you saw the test that we did, I got a message here. They couldn't hear the clip. So could y'all hear it? Yeah, okay. Okay. So we'll work on this first time out of the gate, but we'll work on it so that everybody can hear it. But in Up, there was a strong principle about unloading your luggage, your baggage in life, and move forward with freedom and to strive for, in this case, heaven. But certainly what you want to achieve, you got to get rid of some baggage. In this case, Coach Carter is talking about the idea of, or the young man that was talking there, he's actually repeating back to Coach Carter, I believe, the message that Coach Carter gave them initially when they became a basketball team. But the idea is to let your light shine. And these young men were bound and determined, as Coach Carter was leaving his job, they are going to be, they're going to let their light shine and become the kind of men that they hope to be and need to be and want to be. So every week we're going to share these things with you. You, I promise you, listen, I promise you, you will be shocked at how often Christian principles, faith-based principles come through in secular Hollywood movies. It happens often. My wife and I'm going to steal a little thunder from one of them. I'm going to show you at some point soon. But my wife and I love horror movies. We went to see the sequel to Exorcist. And in that movie, there's a scene where God is clearly speaking to, in this case, in every case, the people watching the movie. And we just have to be paying attention. So I want to be able to share that with you in every show, because there are countless examples. Shawshank Redemption, many, many others have, in some cases, multiple messages. So how about some good news? I've shared with you a lot of crazy news. I've shared with you how Hollywood can be used by God, and I'm guessing those people in Hollywood have no idea that they're being used by God. But I want to share with you some good news. And the last good news in one of our tests I thought I'd share with you too, that was a little boy down in Florida, I think he was 5 or 6, called 911 for the sole purpose of giving the police officer that came to the call a hug. That was the only reason he called 911. And the police officer came. They had it on video. It was a beautiful scene in which in this case, he happened to be an African-American little boy. The police officer was white, and not that I care, but it was just a bit more the dynamic, and gave him a hug. In this case, I'm going to share with you something. Let me turn this music down. Was the music, did I have the music right on the OB? Yeah. Okay, all right. So let me share with you this video. This video is coming from, you'll see the snow, but it's coming from Ohio, and it also has the same dynamic. I don't know why these have this dynamic. I can go searching for that for sure. But this is a scene that happened just last week. I believe it was last week, but it doesn't matter when it happened, that I wanted to show you in terms of some really good news in this world. We hear so much crap and garbage and nonsense and anger and hatred. I want to show you something that is really cool in hopes that it will give you a feel good. All right, so take a listen.
Last week we introduced you to our friend Don Wheeler, who's in a...
Hang on. Sorry, everybody. I got to turn my music. I didn't hit pause. See, I told you I have to do this crazy. Let me get the Bellamy Brothers off here. There we go. Sorry, Bellamy Brothers, but just watch this video. Let me go back to the beginning. This is a really cool
Wheelchair
story.
and has a ramp in front of his house.
Hang
He
on.
was caught-
I didn't really think that this would get this popular.
Last week, we introduced you to our friend Don Wheeler, who's in a wheelchair and has a ramp in front of his house. He was caught by surprise when an Amazon delivery driver, while bringing his package, decided to shovel the ramp for him.
God bless the gentleman for doing it out of the kindness of his heart.
He said he just wanted to meet that driver so he could thank them and ask why they did it. Well, take a look.
How you doing, sir?
Doing all right. How about yourself, sir?
We learned that driver was Jaquan Fletcher. And it wasn't just Don's house that he shoveled, but there were multiple in the neighborhood.
Well, there's a shovel here, so I said I might as well just shovel it for him really quick.
We asked him why. What made him decide to do that? He says he loves bringing joy to people, whether it's with a simple act of service or just a smile.
I'm just looking out for another human being.
I greatly appreciate it.
Why don't we have more of that in this country? Have you ever, I mean, that young man didn't have to do any of that. And as you heard, he did it at multiple places. I don't understand why we don't have more of that. And yet, I guess it's pretty obvious. If the media, I've often said, there's an axis of failure in this country, political class, media class, and the religious class is pushing all of this kind of love for others out. And I don't know why we have it. So when I find it, I'm going to share it with you because I think at the end of the day, as they say, that you're going to want to, you want to hear more of that. It's a feel good. It makes you have some sense of hope for other people and for this country. And that young man just wanted to help somebody he didn't know. On the flip side, I'm going to share with you each week, most every week, some news that I, again, in video form that you're able to kind of experience with me as to the forces that are working against what we just saw. And so it may not be the worst news of the day that I'm about to show you, but it certainly isn't very good news. But, and you may have heard about this recently, but a couple of weeks ago, the Houston Texans were playing I think they were playing the Indianapolis Colts. I can't remember now who they were playing, but this is C.J. Stroud, what you're about to see here, the quarterback for the Houston Texans, who has been known for professing his love for God and for Jesus, and that that's what drives him. And so after this game, where he had a good game, NBC decided they would interview him. And I want you to pay close attention. You're going to see two interviews here. Well, you're going to see actually one interview, but two different interviews. So I want you to just listen to the first, was the actual interview that C.J. Stroud gave the on-field reporter. And then the second one, you tell me what the difference is. So here's the first, and it's got a little bit of an echo to it, but I think I want to turn this up before we get started. It may be too loud now, but tell me what you think.
In your first NFL season and a record-setting performance for you, what does this moment mean?
First and foremost, I just want to give all glory and praise to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I mean, it's been amazing being in this city for as short as I've been, but the love that I've got, I've really just been doing it for Houston, man. People back home, I'm blessed enough to be in the position I am, and blessed enough to be playing at a high level right now, and we got to just keep it going, but I'm super blessed.
I'm going to play it for you one more time because it's so brief. Just listen closely to what C.J. Stroud, a little bit louder, what C.J. Stroud answers, how he answers the reporter's question. Okay, so let's do it again.
In your first NFL season and a record-setting performance for you, what does this moment mean?
First and foremost, I just want to give all glory and praise to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I mean, it's been amazing being in this city for as short as I've been, but the love that I've got, I've really just been doing it for Houston, man. People back home, I'm blessed enough to be in the position I am, and blessed enough to be playing at a high level right now, and we got to just keep it going, but I'm super blessed.
In your first NFL
All right, so that was the interview that C.J. Stroud gave the reporter, on-field reporter, a couple, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I don't know if this is a playoff game or that got him in the playoffs. I can't really recall, but anyway, so that was the interview. Now I want you to hear the second version of the interview. You ready? And I want you to tell me if you can tell the difference. What is the difference?
In your first NFL season and a record-setting performance for you, what does this moment mean?
I mean, it's been amazing being in this city for as short as I've been. But
In your first NFL season and a record.
So let's watch that again. So we have, you heard the first one twice. I want you to hear the second one twice. Here's the second one.
In your first NFL season and a record-setting performance for you, what does this moment mean?
I mean, it's been amazing being in this city for as short as I've been. But
In your first.
So there you go. Same interview. One before NBC replayed it out there, and one after. So you tell me what the difference is between those two interviews, and I'll tell you that what you your answer is defines the media in this country, and it's obnoxious and it's wrong, and we ought to. This is what I'm talking about. We ought to stand up and say enough of this stuff. C.J. Stroud professed his love for God. That's what he answered. That was his authentic response, and yet not she, but NBC got a hold of it and cut all of that out. And I would imagine that you could tell. So that happens a lot, and I'm going to tell you about it whenever I discover it. And it certainly happened with C.J. Stroud. All right, so that's a good. So you got Coach Carter, which is pop. We call that Pop in God. We'll have each week we'll have one of those. Each session, each show we'll have Pop in God. We'll have some really good news for you to walk away with feeling good. We'll have some news that's not the best, but I'm going to highlight, as I do in my column, what's going on in this country, and in some ways subtle. I mean, that if you didn't know, just assume that you weren't in the know. No, I wasn't telling you this and you didn't know about it already. NBC, without any reservation, edited out the most important part of a young man's interview. And again, they don't much care. I also want to share with you some fake news. Now, we've but we've had in this country the past 5 or 6 years, we've had certainly Donald Trump and now many others. I happen to be one of them. That what we just saw, in essence, is fake news. Insofar it was edited out and we weren't told about it. So that wasn't real. But we've heard about fake news. There's a site out there in the world today called Babylon Bee, and I don't know if you get a chance to read it, but Babylon Bee is a satirical site. If you didn't know any better and you just looked at the Babylon Bee, you would think this is just like Fox News, CNN, NBC, whatever. But the Babylon Bee is all satirical, meaning that it's just tongue-in-cheek, as it were. And they do it. It's every day, and so their staff of writers and people that come up with these stories just blows me away. I want to share with you a fake story. It's obviously fake. They mean for it to be fake. But given where we live, and given that most of us, I mean, you can see the Rangers logo here, but most of us are Cowboy fans, me included. You might get a kick out of what I call fake news of the day, and here is that story. You ready? Look at the headline. Texas politely declines Dallas Cowboys offer to send offensive line to guard the border. So in reading the story, and this is after the playoff debacle against the Packers a few weeks ago. Down in the story, I'll read this to you. It says, Dallas Cowboy coach Mike McCarthy called Governor Abbott's office upon seeing videos of the escalating crisis, hoping to offer assistance. It's playoff time, so we're free, obviously, said Coach McCarthy. That being free every January, late January, is pretty common for the Cowboys. Prescott is busy recovering from 14 concussions and getting checked for color blindness, but the rest of the team is available. Just tell us where to guard, and we'll be there. And then they quote Abbott in here somewhere saying that, no, we're okay. We're just fine. So the Cowboys are the butt of jokes across the country. The Babylon Bee decided they would pile on and talk about that. So anyway, that's fake news. Again, the fake news, some of it will come from the Babylon Bee. Some of it will actually be news that's being portrayed as being the full truth and the honest truth to us. But I want to be able to share with you and prove it to you that it's fake news. So we got more of that coming in each of our shows. And I really like sharing that with you because I believe it's real. All right. So we got a giveaway coming up soon. And I hope and are asking you, Scott, are you real? Yes, I think I'm real. I'm trying to cram a lot in here to this show, but I want to have some fun. And so we're going to give this giveaway a little bit. I see Terry Beasley. Hey, Terry, hope you're doing well, bud. I also see Terry said he loves horror movies. If you don't love horror movies, you ought to love horror movies. My wife and I love them. So, but we want to give you something. And again, become a follower of Sunspot Live. Share it as often as you can. And you got to submit or comment with what your favorite segment is. And anybody, anywhere, I don't know how many people are here in Waxahachie watching this, but people from anywhere can watch it. So you can win this gift card wherever you are. And some of it will be here just for Waxahachie, like we have a wonderful Texas Theater here. So those concert tickets will be for the Texas Theater, Texas Rangers, but there are some things that can be used anywhere in the country. So be sure to follow and then comment with what your favorite segment is, and we'll choose a winner. All right, I want to just switch gears. Oh yeah, music. Let me get back to my Bellamy Brothers. My wife and I saw the Bellamy Brothers on New Year's Eve, and it was only the Bellamy brother because one of them was ill, had emergency surgery. I think that was Howard. David was the one that showed up, but his band was awesome. We saw it in the Texas Theater New Year's Eve. It was sold out, which means 225 or 50 people were there, and it was a lot of fun. So Bellamy Brothers it is. I'll turn it down a little bit. But if you've ever listened to the Bellamy Brothers, you'll be shocked at how many... that doesn't sound like them. I think I've drifted over to somebody else. Here, let me put one. There we go. So this is one of their most famous hits. But anyway, they have their whole list of songs they played for that hour and a half. We knew all of them. And my wife is an 80s girl, not a 70s girl. And I'll also tell you this, the Bellamy Brothers are the most nominated country duo in the history of country music in America, in the United States. Not Brooks and Dunn, not whoever else you can think of, but the Bellamy Brothers. Interesting fact you didn't know, I bet. So I want to share with you just a little bit about Waxahachie. We love Waxahachie. We are involved in Waxahachie. One of the things that makes a quality community newspaper a quality community newspaper is that it's involved, it's bonded to its community. It is involved. It supports. It reports the news, whatever that news is. We're not a fluff piece. We're a real newspaper. And I tend to be really involved in the community and love it. And so I want to always take the opportunity in these shows to be able to share with you things that are going on in Waxahachie. Again, that may exclude some people that are watching, but at least you'll learn something about Waxahachie. Maybe the most important thing you'll learn about Waxahachie is how to say it. Because there are still people, I think there are people in this room that still say Waxahachie and things like that. It amazes me how many people get it wrong, but it's like walking. So Waxahachie. Waxahachie is it's already started really with the county commissioners. So that's not necessarily just Waxahachie, but that's the county. But those races have begun for county commissioner. The district attorney race is hot and heavy. We have city council races are about to pick up steam. The filing date is a couple of weeks, I believe, or 3 weeks from now, sometime in early to mid-February. We also have races for school board. So we don't know who all the candidates are yet. We will have those candidates on Sunspot Live so that we can spend the full hour and a half talking to them, take questions, get answers, so that what you may be reading on these crazy sites out there, which are rarely accurate, you can come straight to the horse's mouth and get the answer. So the candidates will be here. And right now we have 3 people on city council that are up for re-election. That would be the mayor, David Hill, councilperson Patrick Suter and Chris Wright. Not all of them will have opponents, I don't think. I've heard that there are maybe one, maybe two opponents possible, candidates that will file. But again, the filing date is in a couple of weeks, so we won't know until then. On the school board, we have about the same thing going on. And until that filing date comes, we don't know who the candidates are. There's a race for judge. A real quality judge in our community is retiring, Cindy Ermatinger. So her court, her judgeship, if that's a word or what they call it, is up for re-election, and we have a pretty active race there. And so we will most likely, we can't force a candidate to come on, but we will invite those candidates, give you a chance to talk to them, meet them, hear from them, and be not held to account, because not everybody does something bad to be held account to or for. But it won't be some, what's your favorite tree, or, what's your dog's name. It'll be serious questions about what you intend to do in the office should you get elected. So more to come there, and I'm excited about that. I also want to tell you that many of you know that the Texas Rangers won the World Series. Thank you, Kathy Jones. I appreciate that comment, and that was what I was hoping it would make others feel. In your case, makes you feel. So we'll continue doing that for sure. But thank you for that comment. I think most of you know the Texas Rangers won the World Series. If you don't, they did a couple of months ago. The catcher for the Texas Rangers, Jonah Heim. Jonah Heim's a tall, handsome fellow who did a great job, kind of been a journeyman in the Major League Baseball, landed with the Texas Rangers, and has done a great job. He was a starting catcher for the All-Star game. He lives in Waxahachie. Some of you may not know that. And we were hoping to be able to celebrate, kind of have a Jonah Heim Day in Waxahachie. But given all the activity that's going on with the Rangers, and now that spring training is upon us already, they are headed to Arizona. The team is headed to Arizona, I think, next month. All the teams either head to Arizona or to Florida. So we won't be able to have a Jonah Heim Day. But when they win it again this year, we'll have Jonah Heim Day. But I say all that to say this. I have been in conversations with the player personnel department. I believe that's the title of the department at the Rangers. And they are going to include Waxahachie. They never won the World Series. So Waxahachie wasn't on the list for the tour of the trophy to come to a city. So we've talked recently and secured a spot on that tour. So the Texas Rangers will be coming to, I don't know who will, but the team, not team, but team of people in their personnel department will be headed this way and let the trophy hang out here for a little while. So we'll make sure you know when that is. Probably be at a council meeting, but I don't know yet. But as soon as we know, we'll report it. I'll make sure you know on Sunspot Live. But they're doing their tour and including Waxahachie. So we're excited about that. I also mentioned last week in our test something that's caught a lot of people's attention and a lot of debate. But as many of you know, Waxahachie is opening up its second high school just a little bit south towards Waco, although it's not as far south as most people think it is with respect to the district, square miles. It's kind of in the middle. But a second high school is coming in, let's see, what's this year, 4 or 5 years, maybe less. The name of that new school has been chosen, and that new name is Waxahachie Creek High School. Now, Waxahachie means, if you don't know this, Waxahachie means Buffalo Creek. So what people are up in arms are in terms of the interpretation or the definition or of Waxahachie's Buffalo Creek. So you got Buffalo Creek High School. So we don't call Waxahachie Buffalo Creek. We call it Waxahachie. So I think that's a bit lame. I think people are looking for something to argue about. However, it's going to be called Waxahachie Creek High School. My hope, and I know this is some other people are going to say, please don't call them the Buffaloes. But I love the Buffalo Bills and the Dallas Cowboys. I'm all for it being Waxahachie Creek Buffaloes and having that same logo as the Buffalo Bills. My color preference would be like black and gold, something that's tough and in your face, almost like the Steelers, if you will, in terms of colors, maybe a little bit more gold than yellow. But Waxahachie Creek High School is the new name of the high school. The logo and the mascot will be announced at some point in the future, and when that happens, we'll let you know that too, because it's going to be it's going to be the talk of the town. Let me just put it that way, and we want to be the ones to tell you about it. Who's trying to win the giveaway? Yeah, somebody better sign up, because we're going to be giving a giveaway here in just maybe 15 minutes. And it's a red hot, ready to be spent gift card, Visa, MasterCard. So, and then the last thing I want to say about Waxahachie is, if you haven't noticed, at the corner of, and I'm not good with the directions, but this would be the southwest corner of I-35 and 287. So, catty corner from Baylor Scott and White Hospital. If you've noticed recently, and they almost have to be not be able to see out of one eye and blind in the other to not notice it, but a massive construction job is being done there, and that is Fanatics. So Fanatics is the world's largest sports apparel. That's where this came from. That's delayed over here, but yeah, there we go. So that's where this is from, and I've got plenty of those, plenty of these in different, Rangers, Cowboys, Bama, you name it. That's where these come from. So Fanatics is building a 600,000 square foot facility at that corner. So just to give you a sense of what 600,000 square feet is, besides just 600,000 square feet, is if you consider HEB, you can get 9 or 10 HEBs, our grocery store here in town that everybody loves, into that space. So it is to be a fulfillment center. I'm told there are going to be restaurants. There'll be other things over there, retail. So it is a massive undertaking and is scheduled to be open about 13 or 14 months from now. But Fanatics isn't just going to move here unless there's a good reason. And I think the good reason is that they've caught wind of Waxahachie's growth and the quality of our community. Folks like Jerry Jones, Dirk Nowitzki, they have interest in investments here in Waxahachie, and I'm sure that they got the word out to the Fanatics people as well. We know that where Tamales was is now going to be a Rosa's Cafe. For those of you that like Rosa's Cafe, I happen to like it. That is supposed to be coming. I am only telling you what I think, not what I know in this case. But it wouldn't surprise me that if at a place like Fanatics or somewhere else where there's construction going on, that we'll see a Texas Roadhouse at some point in the near future, which is really exciting. But that growth is coming, and it is amazing, particularly north of 287. What's happening in the Metroplex is that going north of Dallas and Fort Worth, going east and west, it's almost so saturated that it's not easy to get around those places. You go to Frisco, you know what I mean, or McKinney. It's impossible to get around unless you have a good long time to do it. So these folks moving here from all sorts of places are coming south, and Waxahachie's it. We're the municipal seat. We are a quality city. We have so much to offer, and more people are recognizing that. So with more people come more opportunities, more businesses. So it's coming. All right. So I just wanted to tell you that about Waxahachie. Normally this show will be, let's see, it's 5:30 now. Normally this show will be about an hour and a half. This is our first show. You can tell because I'm either talking too fast, talking too slow, getting ahead of myself. So there's a whole, imagine the first show or the first of anything that you've ever done and how much better you hope to be after you got settled in. So I believe we'll get settled in and can have some real fun with this. But normally it may be that we find that the show without a guest is an hour long, which is plenty. It may be that it's an hour and 15 minutes. I don't want to bore anybody. I want to grow this because I think rather than me talking and you having to listen, there are going to be some things that you share with us that we'll be able to pursue, and I think that's pretty cool. There are a lot of live streams in this country, and some are really good, some aren't, and I hope that we can make this a good one and worth your time. This show, let's see, will this show have a dad joke? It very well might. I should add a dad joke segment. And if I could tell you a dad joke right now. I hear about the two peanuts that were. Wait a minute, I'm gonna blow the joke. I can come up with great dad jokes, but I just can't tell them very well. Did you hear the two peanuts walking down the road? Hear about them. One was assaulted. And do you know where I keep my dad jokes? In my database. So people are tempting me on commenting here because they know I'll make a fool of myself. So there you go. And I'll remember those of you that are just trying to goad me into making a fool of myself. So anyway, the show will be an hour and 15 minutes or an hour and 30 minutes when we have a guest, maybe an hour and 45 minutes, which that's a segue into what I want to share with you, and then we'll wrap this show up. On February the 8th, which is a week from Thursday, I am very happy to share with you that Brandon Beavers will be sitting down with me for the full hour and a half, and I believe it probably will be a two-part series. If it requires a third part, then we'll do that. But for those of you that may not know, Brandon Beavers is the husband, was the husband to Missy Beavers, who was murdered on April the 18th, 2016, in the early morning hours. That was on a Monday in a church between here and Midlothian, and it remains unsolved. What's so crazy about it, in addition to being unsolved, is that the killer was videoed in the church waiting on Missy to arrive. Missy was arrived there, as she did, I think, at the church. I don't know how often, but she taught Camp Gladiator, which is fitness, and she was there to be getting the site set up. She normally did it in the parking lot, but because it was pouring down rain, she had to do it inside the church building. In that building was a person dressed in SWAT gear, police gear from head to toe, and that person killed Missy Beavers soon after Missy got there. Brandon, her husband, will be here. Again, it's been 8 years, and a lot of questions remain. And, of course, the husband at first is always a part of the story, but Brandon has proven to be steadfast and has been, obviously, is not the person who did it. So, but Brandon and I are going to talk about the death, the killing, the event that day. We're going to talk about what's happened since then. We're going to talk about the things that he still has to deal with. We also want to take as many questions and comments from people as possible, because there are sites out there that are dedicated to solving the case of Missy Beavers. Again, it's unsolved, and there are passionate crime sleuths, as they refer to themselves, aficionados, just normal people that just can't believe, like I can't, and I was a member of the media when that happened, how this case still is unresolved. So Brandon will be here on February the 8th at 4:30, and we'll be in this studio. We'll sit down and talk, and I'm just going to let him do his thing, and you'll be able to ask him questions. My wife, she just joined, and I don't know what that face is. Oh, it's a face with all kinds of muscles and all that. Well, thanks, honey. No, I'm just kidding. She's laughing at me. But anyway, Brandon will be here, and what will be a really, really good interview. And then not long after that, I hope to have two podcast hosts that have their own show about the Missy Beavers case. I hope to have them on so that three of us can sit down and talk about it. But Brandon is gotten to know Brandon, and I appreciate what he's been. I appreciate him, and I appreciate the strength that he's shown based on all that he's been through. It's remarkable. I also have John Wiedemann, who is the father of Ollie Wiedemann, who was murdered in a murder-suicide in 2019 here in Waxahachie. But we'll allow John to tell more of his story. More has developed. John has gotten through some of his initial feelings, and I just want him to be able to share with you. And again, I have a great admiration for John as well. So that's what's coming, and I'm excited about that. All right, I'll remind you that we are doing this. We're spending all this energy and all this time, and I don't mind telling you money, to have another platform by which we can share things with you and interact with you. That's the idea. I don't, I guess in theory, I could go play around the golf every Tuesday and Thursday evenings, but I want to be here with you, and I hope that you'll come back and that we will be able to have a great conversation and share with each other. I see many people here that are watching that are friends and some people I do not know, so I hope that grows. Let's see. Bonnie says, I was just thinking about Missy today. I'll tell you, Bonnie, there are a lot of people who think about Missy Beavers. Missy Beavers has 3 beautiful girls. She has a family. Brandon has a family that in many respects have been put through hell. Brandon's sister-in-law, I adore. Not his sister-in-law, his sister. I adore and think highly of. I may have her on at some point, but there's a lot to be discussed with Misty Beavers in that case. All right, so again, we're here to offer you some truth. We're here to offer you some excitement, some fun, some interaction, a vehicle or an avenue to be able to suggest ideas, and we want to take those and run with them. So that is it for today. It is 5:39, so I think we had a good bit here. Again, what you saw today will be similar to I'm getting there. Giveaway. Yeah, so I am too. But giveaway. So here's what we're going to do. Can I scroll through these? All right, so I'm going to go to the laptop and come around here and show I'm going to go where? Oh, the lion. Okay. Right there. Right? Oh. Right here? Okay. Okay. All right. Oh, sorry. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. All right, so we had this issue. So where do I need?
We did not, but it's okay. I think we did. That's okay. So we're going to scroll down on the larger window behind that.
Behind this one? Right here? Do I need to get rid of this?
Perfect. Roll on down for it. There's your copy.
Okay.
You can scroll up inside that box. The cover open.
Right here? Let me see what my wives. You're doing a great job, honey. Well, thank you, sweetheart. The other thing I want to tell you real quick, and I know I'm doing what a preacher does, and I was telling these guys, it drives me crazy when back in the old days I'd go to Church of Christ, and had to wear a suit and stiff, like I was dressed in sawdust, like cardboard with thorns in it. And the preacher would get up, and that was excitement. He would do a sermon, and he would say, and now we're going to finish up and have a song. You can come forward. And then he would go on for another 20 minutes. That was pain. That was torture. I believe we could eradicate a lot of problems in this country if we just make people suffer through that. So I don't want to be that same thing. So, but I do want to tell you that one of our topics coming up will be suicide and suicide prevention. And my wife, I'm going to convince her to join me because we've experienced it, particularly she has in her family before we ever met and since we've met. We really think we can make a difference in people's lives if we just talk about it authentically and open. So more to come on that in the weeks to come. All righty. So I'm going to go through here. I think I already know. Ooh, there's my buddy Dave Hoosier. Oh, that blew it right there, Dave. You can't be talking about Hoosiers. I want to give Kathy Jones a gift card. So Kathy, this is the comment that I appreciate a lot. It says, Kathy says, a favorite part of the show is you sharing God and his goodness and his message, even in secular media. So Kathy Jones, you win a $25 gift card, Visa or MasterCard. I can't remember which one. So you are the winner. Here's what I'd like for you to do. Message me at Scott at waxahachiesun.com, and I will make sure that we coordinate how to get that to you. Okay, Scott at waxahachiesun.com. So thank you, Kathy, for watching. Thank everybody else for watching. This is just the beginning, and I'm excited about it and look forward to talking to you on Tuesday afternoon. So mission statement, be a beast. Don't put up with the nonsense. Believe that we can, just in our own little way, make a difference in what's going on in society today, because if we don't, America's hellbound if we're not careful. And on that, I want to flip over to, I've got all these things I have to remember, and it ain't easy. But I want to tell you that I'll see you on Thursday at 4:30, and we'll have more to talk about. Okay? See you then. Bye. I got to go over here and turn these off, right?